Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the absolute backbone of the global publishing and packaging world. We're going to answer one big question. What exactly is offset printing? We're taking you all the way from the absolute basics, straight through to professional mastery. So whether you're a graphic designer trying to figure out how your digital files turn into real-world physical objects, or you're looking to build a rock-solid career in the printing industry, you are in the exact right place. All right, here's our quick roadmap for today. We're going to cover the basics of offset printing, how the machine actually works, the step-by-step process, the CMYK color system, different types of presses and troubleshooting, and finally, we'll wrap up with some pro tips. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1, Offset Printing Basics, and why it's the undisputed king of high-quality bulk printing. Think about the last time you picked up a beautiful, glossy magazine, a crisp newspaper, or even a sleek cardboard package. You were almost certainly holding the result of offset printing. There's a perfect saying among industry pros to describe why. जब हमें high quality or bulk quantity में printing करनी होती है, तब सबसे ज़्यादा use होने वाली technology है offset printing. Basically, when we absolutely need pristine quality on a massive industrial scale, this is our go-to technology. It perfectly bridges that gap between fine art and mass production. Now, you might be wondering, how does this compare to the digital printing we see every day? Well, digital printing is fantastic for small batches, right? Like printing 10 flyers for a weekend event. But if you need to print 10,000 copies of a novel or 100,000 packaging boxes, digital just becomes way too slow and honestly way too expensive. Offset printing, on the other hand, is the undisputed king of industrial volume. The crazy part? The more you print, the cheaper each piece gets. Just to give you a quick sense of how we got here, this technology didn't just pop out of thin air. It actually evolved from early lithography, which, believe it or not, used heavy stone plates. From there, it transitioned into traditional metal plate printing and slowly evolved over decades into the insanely fast, highly automated industrial beasts we use today. Which brings us to Section 2, how the machine actually works. This is where chemistry meets engineering. Okay, if you take away literally just one foundational concept from this entire explainer, please make it this: oil and water do not mix. Seriously, that simple rule of chemistry is the entire secret behind offset printing. You see, the printing plates are specially treated. The image area, the parts where we actually want ink, attracts the oil-based ink. Meanwhile, the non-image area, the blank spaces, attracts water. So the water physically repels the ink from the blank spots, making sure the color only goes exactly where it's supposed to. It's actually brilliant. And this brilliantly illustrates how that chemistry turns into a physical process. It all relies on three main cylinders. First up, the plate cylinder, which holds our image. Now, the plate doesn't actually touch the paper directly. Instead, it offsets or transfers the image onto a rubber blanket cylinder. Make sense? Then, the paper passes between that blanket cylinder and an impression cylinder, which squeezes it and stamps the image onto the paper. Plate to blanket to paper. That indirect transfer, that is exactly why we call it offset printing. Now, to make that magic happen at high speeds, a complete machine needs a few more pieces. You've got the dampening unit, which supplies just the right amount of water. You've got the inking unit, feeding that oil-based ink. At the very front, you have the feeder unit, seamlessly pulling in blank sheets of paper. And at the very back, the delivery unit, which catches and stacks all those beautiful finished printed sheets. So let's look at the real thing. In a modern automated machine, all of those complex cylinders, dampening systems, and ink rollers are safely housed inside these massive, heavy-duty stations. It is a literal marvel of modern engineering, designed to run flawlessly at blinding speeds without missing a single millimeter. All right, Section 3, the step-by-step printing process, taking us from the digital screen to the final physical paper. Let's actually follow a piece of artwork from start to finish. It's a 6-step journey. Step 1 is design creation, using software like Photoshop, Illustrator, or CorelDRAW. Step 2 is prepress. This is where technicians rigorously check the image, the colors, and the layout. Step 3 is CTP, or computer-to-plate, where lasers literally etch your design onto the metal plates. Step 4 is machine setup, installing the plates, loading the ink, and getting everything perfectly aligned. Step 5 is the actual printing phase we just talked about. And finally, Step 6 is drying the fresh ink and the finishing touches, like cutting that paper down to its final size. Moving on to Section 4, the CMYK color system. This is how we create millions of shades from almost nothing. So, we've talked a lot about ink. But wait, how exactly do we print a vibrant, highly detailed photograph if one plate can only apply one single color? Well, the secret lies in the CMYK color system. Every incredible, colorful visual you see in high-end magazines starts with just 4 fundamental colors: cyan, which is a bright blue; magenta, a deep pinkish red; yellow; and K for key, which is essentially black. Let's move on and see how this builds sequentially. Remember that massive machine we looked at earlier with all those separate stations? Well, each one of those heavy-duty stations holds just one of these 4 colors. So as a blank sheet of paper travels down the line, it gets stamped with a layer of cyan, then a layer of magenta, then yellow, and finally black. And here is the color separation process in action. The Prepress software breaks a digital image down, isolating just the cyan parts, just the magenta parts, and so on. As those individual semi-transparent layers of ink overlap and blend on the physical paper, they literally trick the human eye. Your brain sees millions of complex shades, shadows, and vibrant hues. It's basically an incredible optical illusion, powered entirely by massive machinery. Section 5. Types and Troubleshooting. Time to talk about mastering the press. Now, understanding the theory is great, but real pros know how to choose the right equipment for the job. You've basically got 2 main types of presses: sheet-fed offset and web offset. Sheet-fed machines pull individual, pre-cut sheets of paper into the press. These are your go-to for books, posters, and high-quality business cards. Web offset machines, those are a different beast. They use massive, continuous rolls of paper fed through at lightning speeds, and they are strictly used for massive production runs, like daily newspapers. But hey, on the press floor, chemistry and physics don't always behave. Stuff goes wrong. If you see ghosting, which are faint repeated images, you've got to adjust your ink balance. If you see misregistration, where the colors look all blurry, you need to correct the alignment of the plates. Scumming is when ink bleeds into the blank areas. That means you have to improve your water balance. Dot gain makes the image look way too dark, so you adjust the pressure. And if you have color variation across a whole batch, you need a full machine calibration. So the crucial point here is, a master press operator isn't just watching a machine run. They are a mechanic, a chemist, and a technician all rolled into one, constantly balancing these complex variables. Finally, Section 6, Pro Tips and Conclusion. Let's talk about advancing your career. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a solid roadmap based on where you are right now. If you're a beginner, focus hard on the absolute fundamentals. Really wrap your head around CMYK, understand image resolution, and learn about paper GSM, which is basically paper thickness and weight. If you're at an intermediate level, level up by mastering the pre-press plate making process and perfecting your registration skills. And for the advanced folks out there, your target should be mastering exact ink density, perfect press calibration, and leading preventative machine maintenance. To beautifully summarize everything we've explored today, I want you to remember this. अब आप समझ चुके हैं कि offset printing सिर्फ एक machine process नहीं, बल्कि design, chemistry, or engineering का combination है. You truly understand now that offset printing isn't just pressing a green button on a machine. It's this incredibly delicate, precise combination of digital design, chemical properties, and heavy-duty engineering all working together in perfect harmony. And I'll leave you with this one final thought. अगर आप प्रिंटिंग इंडस्ट्री, ग्राफिक डिज़ाइन या पब्लिशिंग में करियर बनाना चाहते हैं, तो ऑफसेट प्रिंटिंग समझना बहुत यूजफुल स्किल हो सकता है. Seriously, if you want to build a real career in the printing industry, graphic design, or global publishing, deeply understanding offset printing is more than just a useful skill. It is an absolute superpower. It gives you complete control over your final physical product. So, the only question left for you is, are you ready to master it?